Hey folks, Paul here. So I picked up this nice slab of pork belly from my local grocery store and I thought I would make some bacon, and I'll show you how I do that. I use a method called the equilibrium method, and that ensures we get the exact right amount of cure and salt into the pork to make bacon without making it overly salty. Let's get on with it. So first of all, we've got our ingredients: salts and the curing salts, the nitrites. That's all you really need, but you also generally want some flavors. So I like to have a little bit of sugar just to offset the saltiness. I like to add some, usually paprika, some chili peppers. So I have a 5-pound slab of pork belly. So because of the ratios, we use 2% salt. I use grams, so 2.25 kilograms of pork belly. That means I have 45 grams of salt. And you have 0.2 grams of curing salt, and then you have a little bit less sugar, 1.5% sugar, and so that gives me 33 grams of sugar. And then I added 20 grams of pepper, 20 grams of paprika, and about 10 grams of chili powder. I used a combination of chipotle chili and cayenne, and I ended up with this. Give it a shake and you're ready to. We're going to go ahead and get started. I like to use one gloved hand, one ungloved, so my clean hand and my dirty hand. So obviously, first thing you're going to do is pull it out of the bag. Now this is a pretty good belly. Sometimes you have some gnarly bits that it's worth trimming off first, but I'm not really seeing anything that needs trimming, which makes this really, really simple. So let's go ahead and season it up. So with your Ziploc bag, if you fold the top over like this, you have less chance of getting grains in the actual zip of your seasoning, which means it's going to get a good seal. We just slide the belly into the bag. So I'll leave air in it at first and do this, and that helps distribute the seasoning. And then I will pop this just the edge and kind of pull the air out. Usually fold it over itself like so. You're not looking for a vacuum effect, you're just looking at getting most of the air out. So this is going to go in the fridge. Notice I've dated it, so I've got my date there, so I know when I put it in. I will turn it and give it a little bit of a massage every second day, and then probably it's Saturday today, so probably Friday next week I'll take it out and I will give it a rinse off and then put it back in the fridge uncovered on a rack, just to let air circulate around and really dry it out and get it ready to accept some smoke. So I'll see you in a week's time. All right, folks, so here's our bacon. When you last saw it, we had just put it in a very large Ziploc bag. So that was on Saturday. It is now Saturday, so that's a full week. But yesterday, which was Friday, I took it out of the Ziploc bag and I gave it a good wash, just in the sink, cold water, and then patted it dry. And then I put it on a rack in the fridge, and I left it there until this morning. And that's going to dry it out a little bit, form a pellicle. It's going to help the smoke stick to it. And now it's ready to smoke. So here it is. You can see there's still a little bit of rub on it, but it's not super red or anything from the rub like it was when we first rubbed it. Most of the flavor we wanted, we got out of the curing process. And so that's it. There's nothing else we need to do other than put it on the smoker. We have the pit set at a fairly low temperature, trying to keep it under 250, aiming for 225. So let's go ahead and put it on. All right, here we are. You can see we're right at 225, which is where I want to be. So let's go ahead and get it on. And then we'll put the pork belly in right behind them. So this center spot is kind of the coolest part of the pit, and so that's why I've got the bacon there. Here near the fire is hotter, and then here near the chimney is hotter. So that's it. Now we're just going to leave it for a few hours. Right, we're reading about 140 on that pork belly, which is what we want. So let's pull it out. So here she is, looking pretty good. And we're just going to let this cool down to about room temperature, and then we can slice off a couple of slices and see how it is. So here's our pork belly. It's cooled down to room temperature. So we're going to slice it open and have a look at it. So there it is. There's our bacon. You can see it's got that nice pink color. It smells nice and smoky, and I feel like it's going to be delicious. So often when I'm cooking bacon like this, I'll just start from the cold pan, and that will give a little bit of fat a chance to render out as it's getting up to temperature, which will then give us a nice layer of fat for the bacon to actually cook in. We have some bacon sizzling now. World's smallest tongs. Looks delicious. It's very, very hot. Oh, it's very, very hot. It's burning my mouth. But it tastes damn good. Not too salty, because we use the equilibrium method. It's got exactly the right amount of salt on there. But bacony. I can definitely taste the undercurrent of some of the chili I put in there, but it's not crazy spicy. So I would call this a success.